Welcome to Law and Society. Today we're going to talk about the Supreme Court. I start with the title saying that Supreme Court is wrong. And in the last session, in the couple of last sessions, there have been many instances where we can say the Supreme Court is wrong. But today, and more important than perhaps any of the other opinions that the Supreme Court has delivered or withheld, Donald Trump's appeal has now been withheld by the Supreme Court for over 8 weeks after hearing oral arguments. And it has now been over 4 months since the case has been stayed. The underlying criminal case has been stayed in this case. So, welcome to Law and Society. Please subscribe and let's briefly talk about that. So, the Supreme Court, first of all, did not need to take the appeal. When it took the appeal, the Supreme Court said that it was going to expedite the appeal, and it went along with that presumption by expediting the filing dates and then the oral arguments. The oral arguments happened on the 25th of April, I believe. Yep. Uh, so, and then since then, the Supreme Court has been quiet. The Supreme Court will be issuing opinions today, later today, and then again next week, Wednesday, presumptively Thursday and Friday as well. It has 19 more cases to rule on, and Trump versus United States in the immunity appeal appears to be the latest case that's on its docket. Does that mean that the Supreme Court will wait until the last day it delivers opinions on in this case? It very much could be. And if that were the case, that would be a dereliction of their duty to say what the law is in a timely manner. We the public, have a collective right. The Supreme Court held in Barker v. Vingo that we have a collective right to a speedy trial. And that legal right rests upon the idea that it would serve the interest of justice to preserve evidence for a shorter period of time as opposed to a longer period of time. It went to the soundness of the testimony of witnesses because of the memory of witnesses in recollecting recollecting events that happened in the past. Possibility of the defendant to break the law while they are out on bail is another concern. We know in this case that at least in the New York case, Donald Trump violated their gag order violation at least 10 times. And in the in the criminal conspiracy case in DC, he has delayed this case and allowed Supreme Court to now help him delay it further. So, because of all of these concerns, there is a legal right that we have. Oh, also the right of judicial and prosecutorial economy. Mind you, the taxpayer pays for the prosecutor as well as the judiciary. So, maintenance of this case, the longer it goes on, the more it costs the American taxpayer. That is a compelling interest that the government should have, that the Supreme Court should have in resolving matters that come before it in a timely manner. So those are the considerations of our legal right to a speedy trial. We also have a commonsensical political right to know the truth about our candidates before we go to the voting booth to vote for them. And SCOTUS, in delaying this case from going forward, with each passing day, is foreclosing that right to know the truth and the legal right of a speedy trial that we have. The Supreme Court is putting a lid on it. It can be any objective person would look at this and say that the Supreme Court is helping Donald Trump delay the case so that it doesn't happen until after the election. And If Donald Trump by chance wins, there's a chance that this case will be dismissed the moment he takes office and appoints his attorney general. And if Donald Trump loses, which is a which is a stronger possibility, then the case will move on at the pace that the case is moving on, which is lackadaisical. I assume that you know the Supreme Court will address this issue and rule on it by experts are saying the latest July 1st, if they don't finish with their ruling of the 19 cases in the next 4 days, including today. So, as it stands now, the case is halted. I will provide a link to the a summary of the indictment of the case that has been held, the criminal conspiracy case against Donald Trump in Washington, D.C. And you can be the judge of whether we, the people, have a right to know the truth about what happened or not. I believe that we have a right to know the truth, and I believe that the Supreme Court is denying us our right to know the truth. And with that, thank you so much for being here. And please like and subscribe. I'll talk to you soon.